YouTubers, and welcome back to my channel. Pardon the nasally soundness of my voice. I am on the tail end of a head cold and it's all right here right now. You may notice by the title of this video that this is not my typical video. This week was actually supposed to be Thor Ragnarok's movie review, but I felt the need to sit down and do this. I don't know why, but I did. I am going to be referencing my blog post some, but for the most part this is just going to be very, very candid, or at least I'm going to aim for it to be very candid. Don't know how well I'm going to do with that. Most people, I have words here, this isn't easy. Most people who know me personally, what are you doing, buddy? Most people who know me personally know I suffer from general and social anxiety. Technical terms being generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorder. I was probably diagnosed about 7 years ago, but I've been suffering from anxiety for a lot longer. For a long time, my anxiety came in the form of random crying fits, and I honestly miss those days. And when I say random, I do mean random. Anyone who went to school with me can probably think of times where I looked perfectly fine and then all of a sudden asked to go to the nurse's office and was gone for a extended period of time, or would just randomly, you know, ask maybe to go to the bathroom and then was gone for an extended period of time. And those extended periods of time, I would be sitting in a corner or in one of the little privacy rooms in the nurse's office crying for no reason at all. I could be sitting at my desk doing my work, or I could be sitting in a group of my friends, sitting with a group of my friends just talking, and I would suddenly feel the overwhelming urge to cry, and there was no stopping it. I would just give in to those tears and I would have to leave class because the last thing I wanted was to cry in front of everybody for, like I said, no reason at all. I would cry, you know, the crying fits would depend on the severity or how long I had to hold them back before I was able to let them out. But once it was done, once the crying was done, I was fine. Yeah, I was tired, but I was good. I could go back to class. One of the benefits of my skin, at least around my eyes and on my face, is about 5 minutes after I've finished crying, you can't tell I was. My eyes aren't bloodshot, my skin, my eyes themselves aren't bloodshot, my eye, you know, around my eyes isn't puffy and red, nothing. You can't tell I've been crying. Yes, I did end up with pretty bad headaches because crying causes headaches, but I was able to adapt and go on with my day. It was around 8 years ago I developed severe anxiety. I was diagnosed just before my 21st birthday. It started, like I said, about 8 years ago. I would start getting these pressure type pains in my chest, right around this area, right around the breast area. At first I would think I thought it was my bras were too tight, so I would take them off, only that didn't help. And the pain would get worse, becoming a sharp stabbing pressure, almost like someone was sitting on my chest while trying to cut it open. I know that's very vivid, but that is literally the best way I can describe it. And along with the severe pain would come cold sweats. Anyone who's ever had cold sweats knows how much they suck. You're freezing cold, but at the same time you're sweating profusely. And you're sweating profusely everywhere, and you can feel it everywhere. Shortly after, the lightheaded and dizzy spells would start. If it was a moderate attack, that's where, I know, how can it be a moderate attack when it's severe anxiety, but trust me, it can. If it's a moderate attack, that's where it would start. It would just all slowly fade away. Over time, it would take time, but it would slowly fade away, and that's where it would stop. If it was a major attack, I would get extremely nauseous to the point where I was positive I was going to be sick. I've only thrown up from an anxiety attack twice, thankfully, but every time it's extremely close. Like, I'm waiting for it to happen. I'm swallowing it down as best I can, but I'm waiting for it to happen. those attacks are the worst, obviously. I mean, they all suck, but those ones are the worst. But moderate attack, major attack, I'm still down for the count once the attack has ended. When an attack finishes, I am shaky, I am exhausted. I am paler than death, which I know is very difficult to imagine considering how pale I am regularly, but any little bit of color, you know how I have like permanently flushed cheeks? Gone. Any little bit of color in my face is gone, and is gone for a good while. I'm, like I said, I'm shaky, I'm pale, I'm very weak. I generally need help moving, or if I need to move around after an attack, I need help, either from a wall or preferably a person. And it takes a while to get out of these attacks. I mean, these attacks, moderate or major, can last anywhere from like 15 minutes to several hours. Yes, hours. These attacks can last for hours. I once had one that lasted for about 12 hours. Thankfully, it was only a moderate attack symptom, so no nausea, but I was 12 hours of still just that. By the time either type of attack is finished, I'm exhausted. I'm weak. I'm shaky. I'm pale. All I can do after an attack, major or moderate, is sleep. That's all I can do. I can't focus. Talking is hard. I can't make my words form correctly. It's a nightmare, pretty much. I mean, the attack itself sucks, but the aftermath is just as bad. So all I can do is go to bed and sleep, and I generally do like that. I'm out. That is it, because I have nothing left when an attack is finished. It takes everything from me. And then a couple of years ago, it got worse. I know. How could it possibly get worse? I started developing severe, this is not something I want to talk about on the internet or where anyone I know can watch it, but oh well. A couple of years ago, I started developing severe diarrhea when I would have my anxiety attacks. It would start with the pain in my chest, and as the pain got worse, I would need to use the bathroom. And it wasn't a choice. It wasn't like I could wait a couple minutes until the attack, abated some, or I could, wait until it was over. It was that I needed it to go now. Thankfully, I have never been too far from a bathroom when I have an attack. Very thankfully. But it could happen, and that itself is a stressor for my anxiety. What it ended up being is I have anxiety triggered irritable bowel syndrome. As people who have it know, or maybe have heard of it, it can cause gas, diarrhea, and or constipation. I only get the diarrhea part. So you can imagine, if I start having like an attack in public, that the fear of, where am I going to go? Thankfully, again, I've been in areas where I can have access to a bathroom, but there's always that possibility in the back of my mind. It's like, what if you don't have access to a bathroom? And it's not fun. But as my doctor put it, I literally have a nervous stomach / bowels that need to be emptied every time I have an attack. I have become very intimate with my bathroom. And most recently, I know, it just keeps going. Most recently, I have started pulling out my eyebrows and my eyelashes. I don't do it consciously because that hurts. But when my mind is going a million miles an hour, as it always does, but when it starts spinning off into the darker realms, freaking out over things that most of the time and very realistically are never going to happen, I find myself pulling at my eyelashes and my eyebrows. And I don't just do it because of my mind racing. My OCD plays an effect, not with my eyebrows, but with my eyelashes, but that's a whole other story. It isn't always so bad. With my eyelashes, you really can't tell, and with my eyebrows, I already have sparse patches naturally, so you can't really tell there either. But this last time it got bad. I also suffer from RLS, which is known as restless leg syndrome, which a lot of people have. What it means is I have the uncontrollable urge to move my limbs, mainly my legs in my case, whenever I'm stationary, like laying in bed, sitting down. There are things that can trigger it. I can't drink caffeine or alcohol. I can't have spicy foods. I can't have too much sugar, or it will trigger an attack. If you've ever wondered why I move so much, that's part of the reason, because I have no choice in the matter. Awesomely enough, I found if I exercise regularly, it does control my RLS, along with obviously cutting those things out of my diet. But in the last month or so, I've been dealing with a bulging and or herniated disc situation, and I haven't been able to go to the gym. I actually miss it. Because of not going to the gym, my RLS is at an all-time irritation level, and it gets really bad at night when I'm trying to sleep. Last week, around this time, actually, I had a really bad night, and I got so frustrated and angry. My anxiety manifested into frustration and anger, and unfortunately, I ended up unconsciously taking it out on my eyebrows. And I don't know if you can tell because I'm trying not to sit too close so you can't tell. But those who follow me on social media will have seen the picture that I woke up Thursday morning last week with half of my right eyebrow gone. I didn't know I was doing it. It was an unconscious thing. I honestly don't remember doing it. And I didn't realize it was gone until I woke up the next day to get up for the day. And I looked in the mirror and I saw it was gone. But it was a result of my anxiety forming, manifesting in anger and frustration over my RLS, and it was taken out on my eyebrows. It's the first time I've had my anxiety form in such a way that I can't hide it. Like with anxiety attacks, I can, if I have one in public, which I try not to, if I have one in public, I go to the car, or I try and hide that I'm having one. Usually when I'm in public, they're pretty moderate attacks. So no nausea, usually no having to find a bathroom right away. But this it's not really something I could hide. It's right there on my face, and I've never had this happen before. I mean, obviously eyebrows grow back, and it's just an eyebrow. Who cares? But it's the first time I've had something visible where everybody can see it every day, and might ask. It's another problem with my anxiety, because I know the chances of people coming up to me going, "What happened to your eyebrow?" are like so slim it's not even funny. But that's just what happens with these things. Most people suffer from some form of anxiety, whether they know it or not. I envy those people who have no idea why their pulse is racing in extreme situations, or what's causing them to sweat a little bit more than normal when they're nervous. My anxiety started at a young age. Even I don't know when it started. And it has only gotten worse as I've gotten older. My attacks are controlled by medication and therapy, but nothing is 100%, and this is probably something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. But a lot of it is mental. It is a mental war I fight every single day, and it's exhausting. If you ever wonder why I look tired all the time, that's why. I am fighting a battle every single day. I get comments all the time about finding work, finding a job, moving out on my own. Like I said earlier, when I have an attack, I am basically as weak as a newborn baby, and the only thing that keeps me from sleeping off the attack in the bathroom is my mother is able to help me back to bed, or help me to bed in general. If I lived alone, I'd have no one to help me. I'd have no energy to call for help from one of my neighbors if they'd even come. If I had a job and I had an attack, nobody would. I'd be sent to the hospital. you know, because they'd find me laying on the bathroom floor most likely if they found me, and that would just trigger even worse anxiety. And it's, while I'm better than I was almost a decade ago, I'm nowhere near ready for most of the things that people find normal or acceptable for someone my age. Living alone, having a healthy relationship, holding down a steady job. I'm not capable of doing that, because you have to remember, I have my anxiety, you know, I got that mental battle going on every day, and I know people have it worse than me. I'm aware that people have it worse than me. But on top of my anxiety, I also have my chronic pain in my legs actually. I have my chronic pain that limits what I can do. Even if I didn't have my anxiety, I still have a limit to what I can do. My life is an ongoing battle against my body, against my mind, and it's when I'm winning, and when I will continue to win every day. I don't give up. I mean, I'm doing the best with the hand I was given. It's not a good hand. In fact, it's downright shitty, but it's mine. Anxiety, RLS, chronic pain, sarcasm at all the wrong moments in life. I've wanted to give up. I'll be honest about that. I have wanted to give up. Who wouldn't? But the fates that dealt me my hand are vindictive bitches, and I'll be damned if I give them the satisfaction of giving up before my time is done. I may never outgrow my anxiety, but I am still learning to live with it every single day, and I'll keep living with it for as long as I have to. It's, as I had one of my original characters say, it's better to be challenged by the gods than lost amongst their people. They're challenging me, all right, every single day, but I'm more than up for it. It's not easy. There are some days where I literally don't want to get out of bed, and some days I don't. But I'm still going. It sucks, it's hard, but I'm still going. That is this week's video, having to do with my war with anxiety, for lack of a better way to put it. No, that's not lack of a better way to put it. That's exactly what it is. It's my war with anxiety. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let me know how you battle your problems, if you have any. Be nice. Be nice to each other. Make sure to give the video a thumbs up if in some way maybe it helped you get insight into other people in your lives with anxiety or with chronic issues, mental health issues, whatever. Just be nice. As always, my social media handles will be down in the description below, along with my blog if you want to read the post that goes along with this video. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload. And I will see you guys in next week's video.